A thriller between Hawaii and Stanford. Kansei Matsuzawa delivers from 38 yards out. Matsuzawa, the hero, and Hawaii gets the victory over Stanford 23-20. So Kansei Emory Hunt, our fabulous CBS or college football and NFL analyst, Kansei is the hero, right? But we wouldn't get there if it wasn't for the heroics of Micah Alihado, who was battling on one foot since the beginning of the third quarter after the hip drop tackle. What did you like about the resilience from Micah, the redshirt freshman, deciding to stay in there, even when it was clear he was not even close to 100%?
I love the fact that he got up off the mat in that ball game because he was laying down there for a while. We thought he was going to be out for not just a game, for the season. It looked serious. But then when you look at how he got up, walked off, came back in the ball game, and not only just stood in the pocket, it was picking apart that Stanford secondary, but we saw him take off judiciously to pick up yards on the ground with his legs. And we were joking like, man, his foot is going to be the size of a pineapple by the time he gets wakes up tomorrow. But the fact that he went out there, led those guys to a comeback victory, used his legs in addition to dicing them up with his arm, very impressive. He today became a Hawaii legend based on how he played, and it's great that he did it under former Hawaii legend and Timmy Chang, the head football coach.
It's a story that really writes itself. When you think about, let's go back to that hip drop tackle, because we know in the NFL that's illegal, right? Mm-hmm. What did you see on the play, and do you feel like it was the right decision? To me, I'm thinking, listen, this kid has a lot of time left in his career. Why don't you just sit him? But did you agree with the decision to keep him out there knowing more potential injury?
Well, once we found out it wasn't a knee, I was fine with it because I've had knee injuries before. I remember we watching the game, I'm like, man, I wish they would have put a sleeve on it or a brace, but it was a foot. And once, okay, he's walking off, and if he feels comfortable and confident that he can step into a throw, we saw a little bit of pain at certain parts in the fourth quarter trying to throw the football where he couldn't really drive because his foot was ailing him. I was like, all right, if he likes it, I love it, right? So if he's out there balling and he's out there doing his thing, he feels confident, he didn't want to leave his team. And thank God, because at the end of the day, him being out there was what they needed in terms of being a true field general, being able to direct traffic, get the ball out quickly, get the ball to the right playmakers. And this was the benefit of him playing in those games last season. So it wasn't shocked by the moment. He's played in the college football game before. So I thought this was a great game for him, both mentally, physically, emotionally, and I'm so excited to watch Hawaii from this point on because they got them a true leader. Now, granted, he's going to have to stick his entire foot in a crate of ice.
Tub, yeah.
Exactly, everything. But we'll see how he comes out on the other side of it in the next game. But this game against that opponent, kudos.
Yeah, and it showed a lot to his teammates, right? The ability to battle back from that injury, stay on the field, and actually produce. Because sometimes you're injured and you're a liability. Correct. But in this case, he was able to do enough to take down Stanford. And when we think about Stanford, first year for Frank Reich, right? He's coming over, right, from the NFL. He's really a man who loves Andrew Luck, and this is part of the reason why he took this job. What were your first impressions from this program under Frank Reich, even if it is just 1 year?
I'm excited to see Stanford the rest of the way, too, because Stanford looked like Stanford. A 20-play, 9-minute drive, 15 run plays to score a touchdown, emphatically driving it down the field. So Stanford really ran down Hawaii's throat the entire ball game. So they looked like Stanford, the Stanford that we used to watch and watch all those great running backs run behind 17 tight ends out there and 17 tackles and guards. They were running up and down the field against Hawaii. Now, granted, it is Hawaii. Maybe their run defense isn't up to par. They did have 9 returning starters, so this was a pretty solid Hawaii defense. They got better every season under Timmy Chang. But, man, this was great for Stanford because it set the tone. It put the rest of the country on notice, our teams on their schedule, like, hey, Stanford's going to run the football. If we can't stop the run, it's going to be a problem. And they can just get competent passing play. Galverson did what he could, but it wasn't enough toward the back end. But, man, if they're going to run the ball like this and be able to be competent, just average throwing the football, they're going to be a problem. They could even flirt with a bowl game this year.
Yeah, because Hawaii had no answer for stopping that run game whatsoever. Now, we're going to talk about Penn State in a little bit, but just going back to Hawaii, when you think about this team, right, and their Mountain West chances, what chances do you give them to actually win it?
They are the wild card in it because they have now someone that they believe in, and Micah Alejado, and he proved out here on the field that he's this version of Sam Levitt, right? He's this year's version of Diego Pavia. When you have someone that has that type of leadership that you saw it permeate throughout the rest of the team, guys were stepping up, fighting for extra yards, breaking tackles, blocking out there on the perimeter. You have to like their punchers' chances in the Mountain West because we know Boise is the big dog on the block, but if Hawaii can do what they've done here situationally, get off the field on defense. You feel like the run defense is going to get better as the season goes on. I always felt like the run game is about attitude and want to. This was an anomaly, a team that runs the ball like Stanford, but I like Hawaii's chances to be a fly in the ointment this season.
Yeah, and that'll be exciting for the rest of college football. Now, going to Penn State. They're number 2 to open the season. They got the first Big Ten game on CBS next week, battling Nevada. High expectations, Emory, to say the least, for Jane Franklin's squad. Drew Allen returns. They have a really good offense. They're going to be great in the running game. Not a bad defense whatsoever. I know they lost Abdul Carter. But when you think about Penn State and all the expectations that they have, what do you envision the way, or how do you envision the way they're going to start this season?
It may not be quite 1994 Penn State when they had Kerry Collins and Kajana Carter and those great receivers. They got good receivers now, better than what they had last year, but the balance will be there. So we know they have 2 outstanding tailbacks in the backfield, Singleton and also Allen. Now you add Kobe Hudson coming in from USC. You add a Troy receiver, Devontae Ross, and you also add Trevor Pena coming from your place.
Yeah, I know. Syracuse. I hated to see that, but hey, that's the life we're living, right?
That's what we're living in, right? So they got 3 receivers now, and so the offense will be much more balanced. I'm a big fan of Drew Allen. I like how he plays. And I think defensively, Penn State will always be Penn State's defense. And so this is the most balanced team he's had. And when you have a team that's super balanced like this, now you can find different ways to win ball games, because we saw last year, if it wasn't Tyler Warren and maybe their run game, they had some issues trying to win. But now you have to respect their passing game, which now opens up more for the run game. And now they can get a bigger lead and play with the lead defensively so they can pin their ears back and get after the quarterback and close out games. Again, we saw this team get to the postseason, win 2 games, and they fell short to Notre Dame. So if they're able to take what they learned last year, bring it to this season with better players, a well-rounded roster, you can't help but get excited about Penn State going into 2025.
Right, and they have better coaches, right? Ohio State's defensive coordinator, right?
You get a strength by making your opponent weaker, bringing over Knowles and what he's going to bring, and now he has a chance to really do what he wants to do on defense. Like, it could be a problem. It's going to be fun in Happy Valley this year.
Yeah, a lot of eyes are going to be on Penn State, and the expectations are high, so it should be interesting to see how it all plays out. Emory Hunt, we always appreciate the time, man. And here's a look at the Nittany Lions schedule. So they open up right here on CBS August 30th. Then they're against FIU, Villanova, Oregon. That could be a challenge. We'll see how they play out by the time September 27th comes. And then Ohio State, November 1st, and Indiana, November 8th. So right now, those are the 3 ranked games they have. We'll see if that continues as the season progresses.